I can almost guarantee that you've done many of these, if not all of them, being the beginner that you are. And the reason why I know is because I've done them myself, along with everybody else. So there's absolutely no judgment. I just want to make this video letting you know that we all can relate to you and show you what to do instead of the typical beginner actions. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kev, and this month of October we're doing a beginner friendly month. So this video is going to be about the typical mistakes that we all have made as beginners, and I'm sure you're doing it too. Right off the bat, number one is going to be walking right into Petco or PetSmart and making that impulse buy. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You see that nice beautiful tank setup, you see the heater and the filter and a little bag of substrate in there, and you think to yourself, hey, it would be pretty cool if we just set up a nice little fish tank in that little corner of my place, and it'll look excellent. So you do the calculations, you tally up how much everything's gonna cost, and you go, hey, that's not that bad, we go ahead and buy that. And you do that without doing any research at all, not having a clue of how to keep a fish tank. You have no idea what kind of work is involved, you have no idea what kind of fish you wanna get. But hey, we've all been there and we've all done it. Some of us actually entered the hobby this way, just impulse buying a tank right off the bat. Maybe you walked in there and they had that $1 per gallon sale. Maybe it was payday and your bank account was looking a little bit fluffier than usual, and you were like, hey, discount on tanks? Today's the day, let's get that tank. You might have even wanted to buy fish right then and there, and that leads me right into number two. Buying fish right away and putting them into your uncycled tank. This one many of us have learned the hard way, and unfortunately it's the fish that suffer. Many beginners don't understand that water needs to be a certain way in order for our fish to survive in these tanks. If you don't already know, your tank needs to be cycled in order to sustain life in your tank. I won't go through the entire nitrogen cycle process because I did that just last week. You can watch that video right there if you need more information. But buying that fish right away with absolutely no other information at all is not the right thing to do. Even though there are ways to get that fish into the tank right away, but you gotta know what you're doing first. I am a huge proponent of using prime and stability when you set up a brand new tank and add fish right away. More details on that process will be in that video right up there. Number three mistake that you most likely did is researching the fish you get after you've already purchased them. We've all done that. Sometimes you learn the hard way that this one fish you got cannot be kept in the same tank with this other fish you got. And either you learn that too late and some fatalities happen, or you learn it in time and you gotta return the fish right back to the store. I would highly recommend that any fish that you like, that you would like to keep in your tank, you should do some research on it before you go ahead and make that purchase. It'll save you some time and money, and it may even save that fish's life as well. Later on in this beginner's month, I'm going to announce a huge tool that's going to be super beneficial to beginners like yourself, especially when it comes to choosing the right fish and setting up your brand new tank. Stand by on that one, it's coming soon. Number five is going to be forgetting to get a water conditioner or other types of chemicals that you may need. Yes, I said the evil word chemicals, but to many of us that have been in this hobby for a long time, we understand that sometimes there are certain chemicals that are necessary to keep these fish healthy and happy. Number one, a water conditioner like Cichlid Prime is essential in removing chlorine from your tap water, as well as detoxifying ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate, especially in the early stages of your brand new tank. Prime is going to be a lifesaver, literally. Other chemicals you might need might be buffers and salts, depending on what kind of fish you need and what kind of water they thrive in. You may need hard water, you may need soft water, you may need high pH, you may need low pH. Another form of chemical you may need may be chemical media itself, which can help in removing dissolved organics in your water, helping with some of the clarity issues early on, like Cichlid Purigen or activated carbon. These are not necessary by any means, but sometimes it's good to have them, or at least understand what they do. Number six, and this is one of my big pet peeves, is getting those filters with those stingy cartridges. Filters with cartridges that need to be removed and discarded and replaced is a terrible way to get your tank started. Why? Hopefully you understand what beneficial bacteria does in your tank already by now. If not, I got plenty of videos on that. But where your beneficial bacteria is mostly going to grow in the early stages of your tank is on that cartridge. So when that cartridge gets clogged and the manufacturers recommend that you remove and replace it, you're also removing all the beneficial bacteria that has grown on that cartridge, and you're basically starting over from scratch again. Yes, there are other places in your tank where beneficial bacteria are living, but most of them are going to be on that cartridge and you're simply tossing it away. I highly recommend that you get yourself a filter that doesn't come with cartridges, that has the space available for biomedia to be installed into the filter, where your biomedia will remain there for years and years to come. And really all you have to do with it is once in a while dip it in some tank water, get it cleaned off, but you never replace that biomedia. If you went the sponge filter route, that's way better than those filters with cartridges that need to be replaced, because at least that sponge filter retains all the beneficial bacteria on its surfaces even when you clean it and put it back in the tank. Number 7 is gonna be panicking with multiple water changes because your tank is looking a little cloudy. Come on, raise your hand if you started panicking and started water changing because your water got cloudy. Come on, let me see them. Raise them high. Keep them up there. I see you. I see you. We have all been there. It is absolutely normal for your new tank to start off looking crystal clear with that brand new water you just put into it. And then a couple of days later, you begin to get a bacterial bloom and the water looks milky, cloudy, and fuzzy. Totally normal. Do not panic and start doing crazy amounts of water changes trying to clean the tank up, because all you're doing is resetting that bacterial bloom and delaying the process. If you need more information on bacterial blooms, I got a great video right there for you. Make sure you check it out and do me a big favor, stop water changing, stop panicking. I promise you that with patience and time, that tank will clear up. Unless you're overfeeding. If you're overfeeding, you need to cut it down. I mean, like almost in half. Number 8 is gonna be one that I specifically did, and now that I look back, I laugh about it. Learning to test your water kind of late after you've already had your tank for a little bit, but once you did learn how to do it, now you're just panic testing like every day, right? Testing nitrates every single day, testing ammonia every single day. I know, I've been there, and it can drive you crazy testing that often. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing that you are concerned with your tank and your water parameters at this point in your hobby, but over testing is not going to change anything. It's just going to make your mind go crazy. I understand in the beginning, once your tank is cycling, you want to make sure that it gets cycled. But once you've confirmed that it has cycled, you don't need to go crazy testing it all the time. Once, maybe twice a week, testing for your nitrates is more than enough. And I guarantee you there'll be comments in the comment section saying that people don't even test at all anymore. You'll get to a point where you're so comfortable and experienced with your tank, you're so comfortable with your scheduled maintenance already that you won't even need to test, because you know when it's time for a water change, when it's time for a cleaning, when it's time for a filter cleaning. It'll just be like the back of your hand and you won't have to test at all anyway. So my advice to you is to calm down with the crazy amount of testing you're most likely doing. I laugh because that was me on the other side of that. I remember it very clearly. Number 9 is a big one. This one is regretting the tank size that you decided to purchase. We all get this fear of trying to maintain a bigger tank, but very quickly after getting that smaller one, we wish we had gotten that bigger size. Why? Because we realize it's really not that hard once we get a lot of the basic information down. Also, we realize that having a bigger tank is actually easier to maintain than a smaller one. Why? In a smaller volume of water, it's much easier for parameters to fluctuate up and down. In a bigger volume of water, it won't fluctuate as much. More water volume means more dilution, and more dilution means a healthier tank. So if you are watching this before you made that mistake, do yourself a favor and go ahead and get the biggest tank that your budget and your space allows for right now. Put that fear in your back pocket. You're gonna be fine. Also, what this causes is the beginning stages of MTS, which means multi-tank syndrome. Once you have that smaller tank and you decide to upgrade to that bigger one, you may not want to get rid of that smaller tank and you'll just end up having 2. which leads to 3, which goes to 4, so on and so on. You know where I'm going with this. Last but not least, number 10, I know that this is a factual thing that many beginners go through, including myself, is finding so much conflicting information out there on the internet, on YouTube, on blog articles. I know it's a massive amount of information. My best suggestion to you is to find the creator, the website, the articles that you enjoy receiving information from. Find the people that have tanks that look the way you want your tanks to look. And if that person, if that source of information seems credible to you, just follow that one source of information. If you're jumping around all over the place, you'll never have a baseline of information and you won't know what's working and what's not working. And by no means am I saying follow me and follow what I do. You may not like any of the information that I give here on this channel, and that's okay. There's plenty of great channels, great creators out there that do things their own way. With that being said, next week I'm gonna cover good tank maintenance practices when it comes down to water changing, algae scrubbing, vacuuming your substrate, all that good stuff. That video will be right there for you. Or you can check out my beginners playlist right there, loaded with tons of great information. But before you go, make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the other side. Peace.